This is a portion of the lecture I'm going to record again because some student told me that the lecture that is recorded earlier during the class has some duplication in the voice. So let's start with this topic. It is from chapter number 21, machining chapter. So Merchant in 1940s proposed a equation that is known as Merchant model. That was an orthogonal cutting model. Orthogonal means that the two factors that are involved in this cutting model, they are at 90 degrees to each other. They are perpendicular to each other. There are two-dimensional only involved in the model that are perpendicular, and that both of the dimensionals are 90 degree to each other. So in this model, it is proposed that cutting tool has a rake angle. As people become familiar with what is a rake angle, it is the angle that is made from the perpendicular of, if it is drawn from the normally is drawn on the perpendicular of on the surface perpendicularly. So from that normal line, this angle has been measured. Rake angle can be positive or can be negative. Further, the cutting tool has a second angle that is known as relief or clearance angle. It is given on the flank face of the tool, and it is the angle by which the tool is slightly above from the newly machined surface, and this relief angle provides the newly machined surface a relief from being rubbing of the tool from the workpiece job surface. So when we do the microscopic examination of the job, we come to know that the chips are separated from the job due to the process of the shearing. Means it you can easily understand that an example of deck of the cards, that how they are separated from each other layer by layer. Same is the case, shearing is produced in the jobs. A shearing take place within a zone. It is a straight zone. It is known as a shear zone, and this zone is inclined at an angle of alpha and at an angle phi. So below the shear plane, the workpiece remains unchanged, and above the shear plane, the workpiece, the extra metal from the workpiece is removed in the form of chips, and chips move up and along the rake face of the tool. Rake face of the tool directs the chips. It gives direction to the chips. Also, sometime chip breakers has also been assembled on the or fitted on the rake face of the tool in order to break up the chips. Upon the microscopic examination, it is clear. It become clear to us that the chip thickness of the chip are in the order of 10 raised to the power -2 to 10 raised to the -3, a very tiny, minute thickness obtained. Okay. In most of the cases, when we machine the ductile materials, we got a very straight shear plane. However, in case of cast irons, means you can say brittle material, when they are machined at a at the low speed, so the shearing of the metal does not occur at a very defined plane. Instead, the shear plane occurs that, yeah, or the shearing occurs within a zone. Means this straight line turns out into a curved type zone in which the shearing took place. So there are two type of thicknesses that are associated with the chip. One of them is initial thickness, that is denoted by T naught, and the other thickness is final thickness or after the cut thickness, and it is denoted by TC. So initial depth of cut of the which the machine tool take place, this depth of cut is equal to the initial thickness T naught, whereas the final thickness TC is always greater than T naught. So that this ratio become, as numerator is a smaller value as compared to the denominator. So this ratio will always be less than unity, and its reciprocal, that is known as a chip compression ratio or chip compression factor. It is the reciprocal of this R and always greater than unity. It is always greater than 1. Further, the chip thickness can be measured by a micrometer, and when we know about the rake angle as and I'm going back towards the merchant equation, because I have to explain it to you people. So if we know about the rake angle and friction angle, we can easily calculate over shear plane angles. This is the mathematical form of the merchant model. Further, the shearing took place, or shearing during the cutting of the material from the workpiece, it occurs in a very narrow zone or in a very tiny zone. You can it is obvious to you people from the figure 21.4a that d is equal to OC. This is the dimension at which the shearing took place. So we go towards this figure, and d OC, at this point the shearing took place. So this is the point at which the tool is going to shear this metal uh, from the workpiece. Because as the area or the dimension at which the shearing took place at it is very minute, so the rate at which shearing place is very much higher. So the shear angle has this is the most important concept. The shear angle has a major significance in the mechanics of the cutting operations. Okay, because the shear angle defines how much force will be applied. Depending upon the force, it will be obvious to you people that what will be the proper requirements, what will be the chip thickness, because chip thickness also depend upon this shear angle, or in turn it again depends upon a rake angle. uh, More will be the force applied, greater will be the temperature rise, and this temperature rise will create problems, just like the workpiece become heat up, its grain structure can be altered, can be changed due to this high temperature. The tool can be easily worn, the tool will get worn out at a very high rate because of the temperature rise. It's the plastic deformation of the tool can be occurred, and its edges become dull at a faster rate. So in the start, it was earliest analysis that the shear plane angle adjusts itself to the minimum cutting forces. However, nowadays it is clear to that it depends upon how we will adjust its shear angle and other dimension of the tool, because in order to get the minimum forces that to be applied in the machining of the job. Okay, the angle beta in this model is known as friction angle, and it is used to determine what will be the coefficient of the friction involved in the machining process. The value of the coefficient of the friction is generally in between 2 to 0.5 to 2. Further, mu is also known as apparent mean coefficient of the friction. Okay, one few more important concepts that as the rake angle decreases or the friction at the tool chip interface increases. So it is obvious that when we decrease the rake angle, the friction will directly be increases. So why? Because with the decrease in the rake plane angle, the shear plane angle also decreases. The chip become thicker. Thicker chips causes more friction, required more force. So thicker chips means more energy decimation, more force will be required, more energy will be required to perform the shearing operation, because the shear strain will be higher. And it is also clear from this equation, because the work done during the cutting is converted into heat. Okay, in the last of this chapter, in the last lecture of this chapter, I have told you uh, about you can say a graph in which it was mentioned that 80% of the energy supplied is converted into the heat dissipation. So since the chip thickness ratio, I have told you that final chip thickness is always greater than initial depth of cut. The chip velocity has to be lower than the cutting velocity. Cutting velocity means velocity of the spindle, or velocity, and whether there will be a tool in case of milling machining, or there will be a job in case of lathe machining. So the chip velocity must be lower than the cutting velocity in order to satisfy the mass continuity equation. So this is the equation we will have discussed in detail in the original class about this model. So there are four types of chips. They are observed during the metal cutting. Name are continuous chips, built up edge, serrated or segmented chips, discontinuous chips. So I will discuss in detail all of the chips. So related with associated with the chip, there are two kind of there are two shear zones are created in the machining process. So one of them is called primary shear zone. It is a zone that is associated with the shear angle and this is a zone at which, or this is the plane at which shearing occurs. When the chip is removed from the original workpiece, this chip uh, is then this become in contact with the rake face of the tool. As the chip has a very high temperature, same is the case, the tool that is doing the shearing process, also the temperature of the tool also get increases. So in between the chip and the tool, there is a zone creates that in which the chip adheres with the tool. मतलब एक ऐसा zone create होगा जहाँ chip जुड़ने की कोशिश करती है tool के साथ. Adhesion take place. This adhesion may be due to the high temperature, it may be due to the chemical affinity. So this is known as secondary shear zone, and in this zone the wear and tear of the tool occur, and this tear occurs on the rake face of the tool, and it is known as crater wear. So sometime build-up edges are occurred because when there is a gap between the tool and the chip, so build-up edges are made. This is the microscopic examination of the build-up edges, and it is these edges remain on the surface of the job, and they cause the problem of the surface integrity and the surface finish. In the figure E and D, it is obvious to you people that figure D is serrated chips. So in serrated chips, there are two kinds of shear strain zone. One of them is low shear strain zone that is occur in the middle of the chip, whereas there is a high shear strain zone. This is zone at which the metal becomes separates from other chip. Discontinuous chip, these are small chips, and these are actually formed when ductile material is machined at low to medium speeds. So continuous chips are formed when a ductile material is machined at high cutting speed, high rake angles, and very narrow shear zone is make. This is known as primary shear zone, and the friction at a tool chip is very high. Deformation in the continuous chips may also take place along a wide primary shear zone with curved boundaries. Further, if we machine the ductile material at a low speed, so instead of shearing, some distortion occurs, and this distortion line occurs on the machined subsurface. This distortion occurs generally in the machining when we machine soft materials at a low speed and low rake angle. So surface integrity and surface finish is occurs. I mean that poor surface will be a result, and along with that, the surface integrity will be. You can say it will be. It will be sacrificed, we can say, and the and the residual stresses has been generated in the surface of the workpiece. This residual stresses and this poor surface finish, determine along with the problem of the surface integrity. One of the mechanical property we will have studied in the material engineering course as well as in the lab, that is known as fatigue strength. This fatigue strength is badly affected due to these problems. Okay, the continuous ships are not necessarily desirable because these continuous ships become tangled with the tool holder along with a fixture and the workpiece. So we need a disposal system in order for these continuous chips. So chip breakers are used nowadays in order to break these chips. Build up edges. These consist of layer of material from the workpiece that gradually deposited on the tool chip. As it grows, the build up edge become unstable and eventually breakups. The built up material is carried away by the tool side of the chip. The rest is deposited randomly on the workpiece. Means if some part of the chip has been taken away by the tool and a minute part has been left on the workpiece surface. So the built-up edges changes the geometry of the cutting edge and dulls it. Also, it deteriorates the workpiece surface. Okay. The tendency for built-up edge formation can be reduced by focusing on following of the factors. If we increase the cutting speed, decrease depth of cut, increase rake angle, use a tool that has low chemical affinity with the workpiece, and use an effective cutting fluid, these factors Focusing on these factors can reduce the formation of built-up edges. Shaded chips, these are known as segmented or non-homogeneous chips, and these are semi-continuous chips with large zones of low shear strain and small zone of high shear strain. Thus, the lateral zone is known as shear localization, means the smaller zone that have high shear strain, this is known as localization. I am going to tell you from the figure about this type of problem. So there you can see that a very high shear strain zone occur in a very small area. So this high shear strain is this in this area, the very minute area, just like stairs in this area, is known as shear localization. So metals that have low thermal conductivity and high strength that decreases sharply with the temperature exhibit this behavior, and is mostly this type of chips are formed in the titanium and its alloys. Discontinuous chips. So discontinuous chips are the chips that are formed when the ductile material when the material when the ductile material is machined with the at a low speed, or you can say that mostly please ignore this sentence, when the brittle material is machined at a low speed. So brittle workpiece material, because they do not have capacity to undergo large shear strain zone encountering in the machine, because the ductile materials, they have the capacity to withstand with the forces up to some extent, because they have because of the better tensile and shear strength as compared to brittle material. As the brittle material have low shear and tensile strength, so they break up easily and they do not form a very long chain of the chips, as people have studied, and also you people have observed in the lab, as well as in your internships in the industries. So workpiece material that contain hard inclusions, impurities, such as graphite flakes, they form discontinuous chips. When we machine the brittle material at a very low or a very high speed, at a very high depth of cut for the brittle material, low rake angle, low effect of cutting fluid, so low stiffness of the tool holder or the machine tool that allows vibration and chattering. So these are all of the factors that promote the formation of the discontinuous chip, and we should have to focus on these factors in order to minimize the effect of such chips on if they are affecting the surface finish or surface integrity.